Coming up, it's time to do a summer deep dive. We're going to break it down into every category that might matter to you when you are deciding what is the best time of year for your family to go to Disney. Is it a magic factor or is it going to be tragic during the summer months? Stay tuned to the end because we think one area of summer Disney might just be tragic.
Such a great thing for fair-skinned babies to enjoy without the fear of burning to a crisp. I think that is a huge perk.
Hey y'all, it's LJ here, owner and founder of Smart Moms Plan Disney and Smart Moms Travel. We are so glad you're here for another episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. Now, here's your host, Allie.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. I am your host, Allie. I am here today with Becki and Stacy once again. I am so excited to be here. Last time we were all together, Stacy was getting very scared of this window here behind me, which I have just recently revealed to her once more. So we'll see if we can get her to freak out about my window again here in my room. How are you, ladies?
Are we recording?
We've been recording forever.
We've been recording the whole time. Is it Monday? I think it might feel like a Monday.
I think we're out of practice. I think we're just out of practice. I just came back. By the time y'all smarties are listening to this episode, I've been back for a while. But as we're recording, I just got back from the trip I've been hyping forever and ever and ever. This big 11-day journey on the treasure. It was our spring break of all spring breaks. It was so awesome. And I'm having a very hard time readjusting to life. Like, we came back to Ohio, and since we've been home for 3 nights, we've had 2 tornado warnings and been in our basement.
Oh,
And I'm like, welcome home.
You have me terrified because I'm coming to Ohio tomorrow and I am terrified for these tornadoes you all have been having.
yeah, it's the season.
Becki was supposed to make it a point to see me during this Ohio trip because she's only going to be like an hour away from where I live. But I don't think that's happening since I never heard back about it. So
No, it's so tragic, the fact that it couldn't work. It was flight times and PTO and all of the things. I might just come sleep in your house anyway, even though you're not there.
Yeah.
Just might show up. Allie has a really good basement. So if I need to hide from tornadoes, I'm just going to show up at her house, even though she's not there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I just got back from a whirlwind, totally spontaneous, completely unplanned trip to see the NCAA March Madness. I was able to watch Alabama play in the Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight, and it was crazy and amazing and so super fun. I was not prepared to go out of town, so I was working on the trip, and I feel very frazzled getting back as well. So maybe that's just why we're a little, at least for myself, maybe that's why I'm a little off today.
I love spring break, and it's going to be something I'm just kind of unraveling on this podcast for a long time. And it's not the focus of today's episode by any means, but I cannot say enough good things about the Disney Treasure. We had such a great time. I had not done a 7-night cruise yet, and I may never be able to do less than 7 nights again.
I didn't realize that was your first 7-night cruise.
Yeah.
I know, like you've cruised a lot. We've done a 10-night cruise, and that was like a pressure, like you're really disconnected from society.
Mhm.
But I feel like 7 is my sweet spot.
Yeah.
I would love.
7 was
Yeah, it's amazing.
7 was incredible. And honestly, at some point, I'll probably have to do some sort of deep dive because there's just so much to say. But Stacy, for you, I'm so obsessed with spring break anymore. Like kids and life and everything this time of year is so hectic. And then when everything just stops, you were able to go. Obviously, actually, the 3 of us are kind of sports fanatics, mostly football for Becki and I, but Stacy kind of ranges. No, sorry, Becki. I didn't mean to offend you.
My son's name is Laker.
Oh,
Right.
Basketball is definitely in our genetics, but football and basketball and women's gymnastics, although college women's basketball, oh, I just love it. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Yes, that's been fun this year for us too.
Yeah, professional women's basketball has
Yep.
been fun. But I was just going to say for you, Stacy, to get to take this time and go, it's just, I was on my cruise when all of that was happening. And at one point, everybody was talking about it. And I texted Becki and I was like, where's Stacy? What did I miss? And could you give me the Cliff Note version? I was like, I have no idea what's
Yes,
going on.
It was so crazy. My son on a Sunday got an email from the University of Alabama saying any students who would like to try to get student tickets needed to apply Monday morning. And we literally talked about his virtual queue training he's had. We know how to watch that clock and be the first one to apply for these tickets. And lo and behold, he is one of very few people who got student tickets. None of his friends who applied got student tickets, which was why I ended up having to go, because I wasn't letting him go to New York and New Jersey by himself. No, that wasn't going to happen. And none of his friends were going. And I didn't want to tell him he couldn't go. So, ta da, we found out he had his tickets on Tuesday, and we flew out early Thursday morning. So it was amazing. He got floor seats. He was on TV a lot. He was on the Jumbotron. We actually saw, I don't know if anybody's a fan of Ken Jeong from our favorite show, Community, plus a lot of other things. We got to see him because he's a huge Duke fan. He was so cool. And anyway, it was an amazing once in a lifetime trip.
I kind of all I could think about was when you said they had to watch the clock and get the tickets, and then Jack won them. I was like, that is his Disney Lightning Lane training coming out.
Yes. 100%.
Like he knows
100%.
how to watch a clock and get a ticket. That's for sure. That's so funny.
Yep. He knew how to have everything set up. He had everything set up before it was time, so that all he had to do is push submit at the time, and he knew how to do it. So
Yeah.
it was great.
I won tickets to a live taping, a late night show in New York that way once. It was like a fastest finger game, and I had been trying for years, and it was I was shaking. It was like I got past the certain page, and then it was like, oh my gosh, it got me to this point. And then I remember shaking. It was the most exciting thing. And we ended up driving to New York that night. It was before kids, because the show was the next day. It was like I got the tickets and the taping was the next day. So we drove to New York City like an hour after I got the tickets.
Love it.
Yeah, we've lost a little bit of that spontaneity in this era of life, but as my kids are getting older, I assume that my wife and I will get that back, because it's just kind of part of who we are. But it's funny because we came back from this crazy spring break trip that was just so incredible. I'm still just living in it. But I immediately came home and, in true fashion for really any of us, planned our summer vacation, right? Like I got that on the books, and now we know where we're going this summer. And we're all kind of pivoting into summer and thinking about what's next and where do we want to go for summer. And I would go on a Disney cruise any time of the year, but that's not what we're doing. We're going to talk a lot about summer today. But before we do, while I was on my cruise, there were a lot of announcements that came from Disney, things that we've been waiting on, things that are coming this summer specifically to Disney World. Did you all hear the announcements? Are you excited? Is there something that's standing out is really exciting for you?
I thought I was going to have to give up hope on the Little Mermaid show ever coming back. I thought it was gone for good because it was really kind of the last standing thing from shutdowns of COVID to being back to Disney. I mean, there's still little things, but it felt like the last big thing that hadn't been firmly confirmed or denied. I mean, Disney had been talking about that it was potentially coming back, but no dates. And now we have dates.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited. I love this show.
Me too.
Little Mermaid is one of those that we always saw growing up. I loved it so much. I think I only took my kids to see it once before the parks shut down and it never reopened. It was such a fun show. My assumption, and I believe what's in the announcement, is that it's been updated. It's going to be a new version of the show in the same theater it's always been in. It's been such a wasted space over there for years. So I think this is a huge deal. And Hollywood Studios is such a show park. You know, when you go to Epcot, not really a lot of shows to go see, right? Unless you're in the American Pavilion and you're seeing a live performance, which is awesome and something different. But Hollywood Studios, we talk all the time about all of the different shows that are there. This has always been sort of a staple, and it's been missing forever. And I'm really excited. It comes back in May, right ahead of all of the summer, which is really exciting. My summer vacation is actually going to the West Coast, so it's not going to be summer when I see this. So I'm kind of bummed about it and thinking I got to get out there just to like see the show.
Mm-hmm. I think both shows that are coming, this might be the tipping point when my favorite park becomes Hollywood Studios, because live entertainment, just in any form, whether it's Broadway, whether it's music, whatever it is, tends to be my very favorite kind of entertainment. Like even sports, I look at it that way. That's still live entertainment. Like being at a game live is so different than watching it on TV. The other show coming, which is the Disney Villains Unfairly Ever After show, it sounds like it's leaning in similar to the Frozen show in humor, which I'm super excited for.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, I hope so.
And it's a long show. Did you see that it's going to be like a 40 or 45-minute show? That's going to be a really big one. So that's exciting. I can't wait.
I have to be honest, I'm a little nervous. I have huge reservations. I hope that it's amazing because, first of all, I have been saying forever, and including on this podcast, that the villains need a presence in the park. And now we're getting the whole villains land in Magic Kingdom, which is going to be, I think, I have zero reservations about that. Like, I think it's going to be absolutely incredible, probably the best land in any Disney park. I'm just gonna call it now. If they do it right, it'll be the best. You've got villains walking around. Can you imagine a villain character meal? I think I've said that on here too. Like, that would just be, oh my God. I'm a little worried about this show. And only because I hope it's amazing, but what was there before might have me a little bit scarred.
That's what I was just thinking. I was like, it's because of where it is, isn't it?
Yeah, the Cars show had everybody fooled into thinking, here's a great Cars attraction to go and watch, and your kids that love cars are going to have so much fun. That show was terrible. That simulation or whatever it was awful. It was not well thought out and was just shoved in the back. And I hope that this is not just a thrown together show. You know, I hope it's as Imagineered as it can get for a villain show. If this is going to be the first big villain's presence we get, I hope it's amazing. But I would be remiss not to say I have some reservations.
Well, I think there's a lot going for it because it's human beings. It is human being performers
Yep.
versus the Lightning McQueen animatronic, you know, or I mean, here's where I would be disappointed. If it's screens, if it is projected movie, cinema entertainment, I really don't want to go watch a movie. I'm assuming and expecting and hopeful and excited about that it's human performers, right?
Yeah.
I want to see these villains in person. And if that is the case, I believe in Disney's performers. I think it's going to be awesome.
I agree.
I hope so too, because watching the Frozen sing along is amazing because every single performance is unique because of different elements from the human element of like get to pull in timely things. If something's happening culturally, they can reference that in real time and it's not just watching this screen. And I think it's really the big difference between Frozen sing along in Hollywood Studios and the Beauty and the Beast sing along in Epcot.
Yeah, France.
Because could you imagine if we had a live LeFou leading a sing along? Wouldn't that be that would be a game changer?
Yeah.
Compared to what it is.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
I just am going like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Just a little nervous. Maybe it's I don't want my expectations to be too high. You know, the other thing is, as a DVC member, there's this lounge I've talked about here called the Villain's Lair. And the Villain's Lair, like just by name, should be the coolest place on property. It should be incredible. And it's just not. You know, when you go there, there's like a coat rack, a teeny coat rack with Cruella DeVille's coat, and then there's a slideshow of villain heads, and that's the quote unquote Villain's Lair. And then there's like some pinned up capes. I don't know. It's really lame.
I think that you are scarred.
Yeah.
Ironic.
Yeah.
I think you're scarred by Villain's Lair. And we're not going to go into this theater and have a slideshow of 5th grade PowerPoints of the Disney villains.
Screenshots from the movies.
I am hopeful. I'm
hopeful as well, but I'm just holding a little bit of my reservations because we're getting the Villain's Land, which I think is going to be incredible. And we'll see. I'm excited about it. I'm not excited. I don't mean to say that, but I am a little nervous, I think is fair. So we've got Little Mermaid coming back, newly reimagined, and we've got the Villain's Show, Unfairly Ever After, coming. Even the title there means that there's probably a story about the unfair treatment or side to the villain's story. I'm all about that. If that's what's going on, bring it on. I'm excited. Both of those shows happening at Hollywood Studios, both of those things happening this summer. Very exciting. A lot of other reasons that people either gravitate towards or away from summer. And that's really what we're going to dive into today. Because one of the most common things we get asked, especially as Smart Moms travel agents, is what is the best time to go? The reality is every time of year is the best time to go. You know, it really is, but not for the same reasons. Your reasons that something may be best may be different than my reasons for something may be best. And you really have to kind of dissect every element to determine, okay, these are the things that matter to me and they're great this time of year. These are the things that matter to me and they're not great this time of year. And then determine what means best to you. And that's kind of how I approach every vacation that I help plan. Would you all agree?
Yeah. Everybody's answer for what the best time is as unique as everybody's answer for what's the best ride. And we've talked about a little more in depth about what kinds of rides matter for what kinds of families. And this is kind of the same thing.
Exactly. So today we're going to be doing a new thing. We're going to be doing a make it or break it style episode. We're going to be breaking down 7 topics that you may be considering when you decide to take a Disney vacation. The 7 things we think matter most to our Smarties, to families that are considering going, families that have already been and want to go again. And we're going to say, is that thing magic or is it tragic when you are looking at a summer vacation, specifically to Walt Disney World in Florida? Should you consider going to Disney in summer? That's going to be, Memorial Day to, we'll say mid-September, not even just Labor Day, really just kind of into the middle of that month. Is it Disney magic or is it that's so tragic? We're going to break it down after this quick break. This episode of the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast is brought to you by BabyQuip, the #1 baby gear rental service across the US, Canada, and beyond. There is nothing more difficult for my family with 3 young kiddos than when we are traveling. We're just out of rhythm without our things. We just feel out of step and our kids feel off. It can make our vacation feel so much more stressful than it needs to. With a wide range of baby and toddler equipment available, including cribs, strollers, car seats, toys, and more, BabyQuip helps give us some of that normalcy that our kids crave and we need as parents when we are away from home. When they're happy, we're happy. And by using local quality providers that are often moms, dads, and grandparents just like us and you smarties that are listening today, BabyQuip makes sure that you are working with somebody who understands the needs of your family firsthand. If you need it, they have it. All products follow strict cleanliness and safety protocols and are also insured to give you that extra peace of mind that you need to really enjoy your vacation. With convenient delivery to your location, whether it's a home, a hotel, a vacation rental, wherever you're calling, home away from home, they've got you covered. BabyQuip is available in over 1,500 cities, making it accessible. So whether you're heading to Disney World, Disneyland, or another travel destination, BabyQuip will be there for you. With their easy-to-use online platform, you don't have to stress about getting your products. Head to babyquip.com. Use code SMPOD, that's SMPOD, to get $30 off of any order of $150 or more. That's babyquip.com. Pack light, travel happy. Okay, we are back breaking down summer. I'm excited about this because I think people, especially recently, have become very fearful of summer. And there are certain things that are difficult about summer, but there are also things that are super incredible about summer. And we're going to break down these 7 areas that matter most when you're planning a Disney vacation, in our opinion, and label them. Is it magic or is it that's so tragic? Magic or tragic? I'm excited. Do you all have opinions on summer before we dive in? Are you 2 thumbs up, 1 up, 1 down? Or are you kind of waiting to see how we fall in this?
It is my favorite season. I love it. That's always been my answer. All those silly little Facebook polls where people will be like, "Let's learn about you. What's your favorite season?" Summer, always mine. I'm excited to talk about this.
Yeah. The first thing we are going to dive into is going to be crowds. Crowds are the most important things that I think hold people back from going to Disney World. They're like, I can't do the crowds. I can't do the crammed spaces. I can't do shoulder to shoulder people, elbow to elbow people. First of all, I don't necessarily feel that way other than specific moments at Disney World any time of year.
I agree.
Unless you're standing watching Happily Ever After, Disney World is massive. And even in really crowded times, I don't feel like I'm constantly waddling like a penguin, like bottleneck through areas. Specific times and moments, sure, but I would like to get that imagery just out of your head if you're considering a trip and you're worried about crowds. What about specifically summer? Do we think this is magic or tragic, or what do you feel is the overwhelming sentiment of the crowds during the summer?
I think that most people anticipate that Disney's going to be packed during summer because of kids being out of school, families going on vacation, all of those things. And I dare say it's the complete opposite of that. And I don't know, we're going to break down all of these different categories, but I think especially in late summer, specifically August and early September, the crowds are as low as you're going to find throughout the entire year. And the waits are low, the crowds are low, so you can get in and see shows without having to fill that shoulder to shoulder. I didn't realize until you said that, Allie, that that's truly the only place that you feel crazy crowded no matter when you go is Happily Ever After. Happily Ever After is that shoulder to shoulder anxiety. But Disney even has the option of getting out of not watching it on Main Street. You can still enjoy it somewhere else and avoid those crowds. So summer crowds are something that I think completely get overlooked because they're so low. There is very, very few days, if any, that even get classified as high.
I think the reason that the crowds are low is something that we're going to talk about in these categories. maybe even give something a tragic mark later on as we break this down for reasons that the crowds are low, but it is true, they're low. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, both of you, but I think Disney peak season used to be summer. I think Disney used to be the most crowded in the summer. And I really feel like it's been the last couple of years where summer has almost become off season. I think it has a lot to do with different things that Disney introduces throughout the year that are going on that people want to see or experience. I just feel that it really starts. I know we said Memorial Day to mid-September, but I have gone that mid-May week for 3 years straight. And I have taken footage walking around the parks and I'm like, this place is empty. There's nobody here as soon as mid-May, you know? And so it truly does feel like an exhale of I'm here and there's not a whole lot of other people here. And that kind of mentality can really go into other strategies you have to think about, like wait times, lightning lanes, things like that. They're going to be a lot less in the summer, just across the board in general, from my experience.
Yeah, I think this shift has occurred, and I do think it is Disney's genius and the way that they've needed to over the years get people into other months, right? They've probably looked at their calendar and saying, "How do we get more people in February? How do we get more people to come here in, in January?" And so they've offered these festivals and releasing new attractions, and that definitely draws a crowd. And then, of course, we know that big thing in 2020 that's changed the world for everybody. It let people know that, hey, we can travel at different times of year. We can take work with us. We can actually do school. There's all kinds of things that have adjusted over time. And it's really because I definitely remember summer being the most crowded. And it's a fascinating thing to have watched through the years. I've also with homeschooling, we kind of can get out of school a little earlier. We would go early May, mid-May, great time. Our anniversary is the first week of June. We'll hit that up a lot. It's great. If we're talking calendar and crowd sizes right now, I would say if you're watching your Memorial Day, your 4th of July.
Yeah, I think the only time you're going to see a super spike in the summer, and it's not even super, but higher would be something like 4th of July. We just did on our spring break trip the fireworks cruise where you can rent a boat from one of the piers there in the monorail resorts. You go out on the water for an hour and a half before the fireworks, and then you watch the show from the water. Our cast member that was driving our boat was saying that 4th of July is very, very hard to get a reservation for what we were doing. And that it's just a busy day in general. And they have the special fireworks and it's just a peak day. But I would not say that it's a peak time of like everybody's traveling to Disney World for 4th of July. I just think specifically that day and specifically really at Magic Kingdom is going to be a little bit more busy, but not like you see other times of year. Looking at crowds, it's definitely now become an off season, and you can see that in lots of ways that we're going to talk about, especially in our next category. I think crowds are magic. Summer crowds are magic. It's among the lowest you'll see all year, and it's going to save you lots and lots of time. And time is money when you're at Disney.
It really is. And I think you're right on that, Stacy, with leaning in, thinking about how many people work remote now and the flexibility that families have to travel in different times has really changed that dynamic. I'm going to talk about why summer in our next category, why summer is magic for another reason. Am I okay to jump there?
Yeah, let's do it. So we're giving crowds a magic. It's great. If crowds matter to you, 10 out of 10 here.
Absolutely. And don't even be afraid of the week of 4th of July. Just know that the couple days by the 4th of July will be busy, but outside of those days, you're going to be fine. It's awesome. So the next category we're moving to is cost. And cost is what really took Sean and I to Disney World for the first time. Having been Disneyland home park person for the majority of my life, the year after we got married, we went to Disney World for the very first time. And what took us there was the promos. Because there are so many incredible promos that Disney runs during the summer months in particular. What got us there for the very first time was the free dining promo. When we look at budgeting and seeing that Disney was offering free dining, like that's going to cover the entire budget for our trip, it was like, let's take the plunge. Let's go see what this Disney World stuff is all about, because we were already in love with Disneyland. And this brought Disney World into a budget worth flying across the country for us.
Yeah. Price promotions during summer. This is when you see the best of the best when it comes to deals. Just last week, Disney introduced like 5 promotions that you can capitalize on. You have resort offers, 2 different ticket offers for a significant savings, a dining offer, and I believe there was even one more. There's so many different ways to save right now, and you can mix and match your
Kids.
kids. Yeah, you can mix and match and really figure out what makes the most sense for you. I was able to help one family. We really strategized, and this is why you need a travel agent, because maybe you don't know all these strategies on your own. And even if you hear me saying them, they're really hard to make happen, to like actually manifest and do. But you can couple and save on your room. And then you can buy your tickets and you can do the 3-day ticket promo. You can then combine it with the kid ticket promo. And then you have this massive savings 3 ways across the board. And you can save thousands of dollars, literally, and without being too exact, because you just never know. And it really is all pending availability. And it really depends on the choices that you make as a family and things like that. The opportunity for savings and to experience things that you may not experience other times of year. I just last night helped 2 families stay deluxe for what I felt were moderate prices any other time of year. One family's going to the Polynesian of all places. One is going to the beach club, 2 of my favorites, and they're doing it for what I think, a Port Orleans, a moderate resort would cost any other time of year.
I have a very similar situation with one of our Smarties. One of our Smarties is actually planning with me right now, which did you know you can plan with one of the members of the podcast team? We can help you plan your Disney trip. So one of our Smarties is planning with me right now, and we priced out the Poly for summer. And it was kind of like, are we going summer? Or are we going to go maybe spring break? Are we maybe going to go in December? And the price difference for a July trip versus a December trip was thousands of dollars difference. It was truly, truly exactly as you're saying, Allie, deluxe for the cost of peak season moderate.
It's absolutely true. 100% without a doubt in my mind. If you are somebody like me, I have been very candid on this podcast. The resort matters to me a lot. I want to stay at the Polynesian, and I have to be really strategic to make that happen sometimes. And if that's you, or maybe you do stay at the Polynesian, but you always do a resort view. I'm telling you right now, summer, you can get the theme park view for the price of that resort view. Or maybe you're a family that always stays at All Star, but you've been dying to stay at Caribbean Beach because you've heard us talk about how amazing the pool is and you get that Skyliner access. This is not only thought process for deluxe, this is for any sort of resort upgrade. If it matters to you at all, you can take not only one step above what you may be used to or maybe looking at another time of year, but probably 2 steps above. That's how good the promos for summer are.
Yeah, I was looking online, just kind of clicking around. I actually booked something for us to go to the beach club for our anniversary this year, and it was really spontaneous. I think I'm in a very spontaneous week. Really probably need to step away from the keyboard. It's very exciting, but the prices were just, it was one of those, how do I pass it? How do I pass this up? Do y'all think the new parks across the county maybe influencing some things coming on this summer?
I
Of
do.
course, I'm talking about Epic, right?
Yeah.
Epic Universal Studios, brand new park opening in May. I love a good competition. This competition between these 2 massive theme parks benefits us. We are going to be the ones who get these great discounts this summer because Disney wants those crowds either while they're coming down or to try to get somebody instead of going to Universal to go to Disney. That is huge for us, particularly this year. I see it. It just appears to be that our prices are looking really good this summer.
They really are. And specifically in comparison to Universal, there were times that Universal was like, oh yeah, I want to add it on because it's not that much more to add a couple days at Universal. That is not the case right now. Oh my goodness.
Nope.
It is.
Yeah. Universal is pricey right now because they have Epic Universe coming. To your point, Stacy, yes, I think they go back and forth, and I think it's hilarious to watch. The villains area of Magic Kingdom is probably a direct response to Dark Universe that's coming to Universal. They're going back. Yep. They're going back and forth, very obviously. And Universal has this massive thing coming. So this summer, specifically at Disney World, you're able to capitalize on crazy savings. So if cost is something that, just like I said with crowds, a lot of families will say, I want to take my family to Disney. It's so expensive. I cannot make it happen. It's going to take me forever to save and all of those things. Summer is the time where you probably don't need to stress about that. And the amount you can get for the amount of money, the value you can get versus another time of year. Maybe you get extra length on your stay. Maybe you get an extra park day. Maybe you don't have to buy lightning lanes, or maybe you just use the extra money and keep the savings. Whatever way you want to spin it, it is magic versus tragic for the cost of Disney in the summer.
And really, if you are a family that vacationing is just not something that fits in your budget where you're at right now, summer is the place where you can maybe squeeze in a short trip for your family just to make those memories, because it's so important. You don't get this time back. So even if you're staying at a value resort, you can still have an amazing vacation in the summer.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
For sure.
And if you're staying value, like I said, you can either just take that savings, or you can say, I can afford 2 extra nights staying at All Star Movies, which is immersive and fun and great, especially for a first Disney trip,
Mm-hmm.
but really any Disney trip. And you can say, I can get 2 extra nights over the summer. I mean, that makes a huge difference. I was just talking about my cruise, 7 nights versus 5 or 4. It makes a huge difference. You can just get so much more value over the summer. It is absolute magic. Love it so much. Love to see people save. Love to see people be able to upgrade and do things that they wouldn't otherwise be able to. 2 thumbs up for the magic of cost over the summer for Disney. Let's shift then, because Becki, you were just saying summer vacation. You're kind of leaning into that. Let's talk about the pools. I have talked a little bit about how over the winter months, I don't really like to stay at the Polynesian. I don't like a summery tropical vibe mixed with the holiday vibe. Over the summer, I consider the pool more than any other time of year. I mean, I assume everybody is doing that.
Yeah, and I think that you'll find that the pools are busier in the summer for that reason. But I am on the opposite side of that, Allie. Like when I moved to Florida, there was nothing that made me more excited than Christmas lights on palm trees. I love that vibe. But
That's terrible.
no, it's amazing. It's amazing. The pools at Disney definitely get busier, especially midday during the summer. I think that the opportunity to lean in to the pools is an awesome benefit of the summer months, but the busyness of the pools during the summer months, they're definitely busier.
We did the pools episodes where we ranked every pool. You should go back and listen to those if you're thinking about going during the summer, because we really broke down what makes a pool great at Disney World and all of the different things that you may prioritize in a pool. I think in the summer months, prioritizing a resort that is easy to get back to for midday breaks and that is going to offer something that your whole family will love in a pool setting are going to be 2 of the most important factors to prioritize. Maybe you can afford to stay on the monorail line when any other time of year you may not be able to. And then that is so convenient. And well, not all. 2 out of 3 of the pools there are pretty great. One is exceptional, being the Polynesian. But maybe you can stay on the Skyliner, and that's an easy access. If you can find yourself convenience to get back to your pool and prioritize a pool that maybe has a 0 entry for your young kids, or has an awesome water slide for your adventurous kids, and has, a great pool bar for you to hang out at and relax during the day. Those are the things that in the summer months I am prioritizing.
Another thing to consider is if pools are important to you, staying at something like a moderate resort, have multiple pools for you to go to. They have amazing feature pools that have water slides that your kids will absolutely adore. But then they also have pools spread throughout. I'm specifically thinking of maybe Caribbean Beach or Coronado.
Mm-hmm.
They have amazing, quieter resort pools. So if your kids just want to get in the water, you can do that throughout the entire resort and not just lean in on the feature pools if the feature pool happens to be really busy.
The value resorts too.
Mhm.
I mean, Pop Century, you can go to the big park where the majority of the crowd is, or stay at the bowling pin pool.
You know what I'm going to say about value resorts and pools? To this point specifically, it almost does it better.
It really does.
Because the feature pool at moderate and deluxe resorts are the ones where you have the slides, the hot tubs, the bars, the life, the pool games, the parties, all of it. And then the non-feature pools that Becki was just mentioning, they just look like local swimming pools, right? Just rectangle pools that you can splash around in. At value resorts, those off feature pool options are all really themed and fun, differently than
So cute.
moderate and deluxe.
Mhm.
So like at Art of Animation, obviously the big blue pool, the Nemo pool is where the splash pad is and the Disney pool games are happening, and that's the main pool. But your other options are a Cars pool with big cozy cone cabanas, or a Little Mermaid pool. And they're all fully themed and immersive and incredible. That's something that actually the value resorts does a little bit better than other resorts. And if you're thinking about pools and the summer and you don't necessarily need a slide, that's something to consider.
You're exactly right.
I agree. I think that computer pool in the 80s 90s area of Pop Century just totally pulls on my childhood heartstrings.
Mhm.
And then also, I would probably choose the Cozy Cone Cars pool over the Big Blue pool for us as a family having teenagers. My kids have spent hours as teenagers in that Cars pool. Like, we love it.
Yeah, you're not going to get the Disney pool games at any of the off feature pools. My youngest daughter is so obsessed with the Disney pool games that they do from like noon to 4 every single day. There's hula hooping and chalk drawing and relay races and trivia. She is so competitive.
Surprise, surprise.
She's actually a carbon copy of me. She looks just like me and behaves identically to me. She loves those pool games so much. So that's something to consider when you're thinking about going to one of your other pools. But during different times of the day when it's not those pool games specifically for my family, a value resort off feature pool is perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and call pools magic over tragic. Look at all these magic marks we're getting for summer. I know a lot of people are fearful of summer, so I'm so glad we're doing this because there's really not much to fear. Pools, absolute magic. You need them. You need to budget in pool time, whether it's an extra day because you can afford the extra night and you just do a pool day, or whether it's midday breaks every single day to go and pool down, you're going to need to do that. So pools are magic. Love it so much. Let's talk about the perks. What do y'all think of the summer perks outside of the promos?
They're so fun.
They are so fun. And I love that Disney diversifies these perks from season to season, as well as just when they're running themes from one year to the next. So these perks are obviously something that's going to change year over year. But I am so excited that they just announced that both water parks are going to be open this summer. It's been years since we've seen an overlap of both water parks being open for any extent of time. And so families get to choose between Blizzard Beach and Typhoon Lagoon. And you can listen to our water parks episode to help you decide which of those you want to choose if you're going this summer.
Yeah, over in our Facebook group, in our podcast Facebook group, all of a sudden I see this uptick of people saying, which water park do I need to choose? Which one, this is a new question for most people. Nobody's ever had to think about it. And having both open is a huge perk of summer. Something else I've been thinking, because we all know that for 2025, at least, and I hope they extend this perk, but for all of 2025, not just summer, you get that included water park day on your check-in day, which is absolutely amazing. And why I think now both water parks are open because people are discovering them again, which was the whole point. If you want to experience both, though, now you need to go back and look at that water park ticket, which I think a lot of people haven't been thinking about since you get that one free day no matter what. But if you're going over the summer, and because promos are so good, you might now want to look at adding that water park feature onto your park ticket because you want to experience both water parks.
And it is such a valuable add on. It is really affordable to add that Water Parks Plus to your tickets, especially if you've planned your trip out with some quote unquote rest days, which we've debated whether or not going to a water park is a rest day or not. So I use that carefully with how you want to categorize it. But the ability to go to the water park so many days within your trip and just offers that flexibility of something else to do, because sometimes you get down there, you don't know what they're really going to be into, and they may want to go back to the water parks, and to have that flexibility is really awesome for a very reasonable price.
Yeah, and one thing that's always really confusing, and you kind of touched on it, Stacy, but I want to make sure Smarties know, is the way that that ticket works is, say you have a 3-day park ticket and you add the water park feature to it, that gives you 3 entries to a water park. So whatever the day value of your park ticket is, if you add water park, you get that many entries to the water parks. So that's kind of the way that works.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be the same days that you go or anything like that.
No,
It's really a nice flexible option that you just have open up
you can even
opportunities.
throw your wet bag in your park bag with your suits, and you could
Mhm.
do a midday break at a water park and then head back to the parks. Disney opening both water parks for the summer, I think, is a huge perk. And then coupled with the savings opportunities to be able to afford to add that water park option on, you have just unlocked the magic of a Disney trip that you really can't get any other time of year. This is the only time of year you can do that as of now. Some other things to consider, and we don't really have this information exactly for this summer, but historically, we've got longer park hours in the summer. And we talk all of the time about how your time is your money. And if you're getting an extra 2 hours in the parks to somebody that's going a different time of year, you're already getting a better value, especially because your tickets were probably cheaper. So you're paying less for more time for sure. And then a lot of times, like in Hollywood studios, Becki and I love Fantasmic, but Becki, it's her like Disney Y.
Excuse me. I also
I was
love
gonna say Stacy's
Fantasmic.
gonna
Sorry, I didn't even
Hello, I'm still here.
knock, knock, knock.
I heard Stacy hates Fantasmic.
I know.
She thinks it's such a bad show.
Lies.
She's like, you should skip
No.
it. You should skip it.
Lies.
Skip it and go to the car
Hey,
show.
I did the Fantasmic dance on TikTok and had Disney Parks comment on
That's
it.
right.
That's
true.
how into it I
I'm
am.
sorry, I forgot. Stacy is the #1 Fantasmic fan in our podcast.
No,
team.
no, no. No, 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 no. We can duke this out. We can duke this out.
So we gotta have something to fight about, don't we? We have not had anything to fight about. Here we go.
Fantasmic. Sometimes in the summer, you will see, based on crowd occupancy, Fantasmic is one of those shows that they can run multiple times in one night because it's not the complete reset like a Happily Ever After is. They have the option of doing 2 shows. And if there are 2 shows, I will give you the strategy of going to the second show because anybody who does the Fantasmic package gets the reserved center section of that Fantasmic show. If there's a second show, there are not dining reservation sections being held. And so you could sit in the same location as the Fantasmic dining package if there's an opportunity for a second Fantasmic show. You'd need to still prioritize getting there early, but the options of how good your view is, because view does matter in Fantasmic, you do not want to be in those back sections behind the walkway. You need to be as close to center as humanly possible to have the absolute best experience. No matter where you are, you're going to love the music, love the show, love the story. But
Yeah,
gosh, I love it.
huge perk, paying less for more when it comes to time and show availability. Both water parks open, unlocks a trip that you can't have another time of year. You know, one downfall, I would say one angle, and I don't think this is going to nudge us into tragic by any means, but before we give it a magic versus tragic rating, one downfall is Animal Kingdom. I think you're much more likely to see Pandora all lit up at night in the winter months because the sun will set a little earlier. So in the summer, you're getting all of that extra park time, but because the sun sets later and Animal Kingdom closes earlier, you may not see that glowing Pandora. And, you know, that's kind of a bummer. I don't think it's enough of a bummer to say that the perks of summer aren't magical, but I mean, do you all agree?
Yes, you know what's so incredibly tragic about this specific thing is one of our Smarties, Andrea, just went to Disney and we talked about all of her strategy and she wanted to see Pandora at night. She booked her lightning lane or her single pass for right when the park was closing and she went to go ride and it was the week right after daylight savings time and so she didn't get to see it lit up because of that time shift. So she got golden hour instead of seeing it lit up for nighttime. So, boo.
Yeah, I think it's important we point that out because I think it is kind of one of those really weird things. It's such a special part of Disney, such a cool thing about Animal Kingdom, but you cannot experience it all year. And summer is going to be one of those times where probably not going to see it. But I still think that the perks that we did mention make it magical, right? This is magic, not tragic.
100%.
For sure.
All right, that's going to shift us. That's 4 of our topics. So far, we've said crowds, cost, pools, and perks are all magic. Next section, I can't really see ticking into tragic schedules. Stacy already pointed out a lot of people can work remote. A lot of people are homeschooled or can go to school remote. And so that's making different times of year more appealing for families. My family does not work remotely. We own a business that we have to go into, and our season runs September to May. My kids go to physical school. They do not do remote learning. And there are a lot of different things in our school here that we have to miss for kids' activities and such. We are that family. So summer months and being able to travel without missing work in school still matters to my family a lot. being able to plan around my kids' sports schedules. When kids get older, the sports schedules do start to really creep into summer. So far, my kids still get that time pretty much off. This is a downtime for my family. So it makes it very, very easy for us to go and schedule while we don't have to schedule off.
Our family follows that same trajectory. Sean is a teacher. I was a teacher before this life. Summer was just the time we had available to travel. So that was a huge determiner on when we were able to travel. It was either travel in the summer or travel over Christmas break or that winter break. And that winter break, it's just like you have too many things holding you at home for holiday festivities. Having kids out of school is a major decision for parents right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, even with homeschooling, we were very involved with our homeschool high school sports, and they would run during the school year. And so when we were out of school, our schedule freed up a lot. So it's still been, even with a homeschool family, summer was still the easiest, especially that May, man. We loved our May trips.
Yeah.
Mm.
My family was always a May travel family as well. Not my family now. My family when I was a little girl. We always did the May trip, and we did pull out of school for that until my brother got to a certain age and it became too difficult with sports schedules and junior high. And then we could no longer go then. And that's when those summer months became very important. And I've always said this, I say this all the time to friends and such. I don't have a problem pulling my kids out of school to travel. We do that as well. But there's something even more relaxing to know that nobody's missing anything when you're
Mhm.
traveling.
Exactly.
Like we're
Mhm.
truly
Yep.
freely on a break, and it takes a little bit of that. You got to get the makeup work. You have to take, it takes that element out of it. And I really love that. So I'm going to go ahead and say schedules are magic for summer.
I completely
Yes.
agree. Completely.
We only have two more categories, and so far we're straight up magic for summer. So I think people are really scared of summer, and I think we're doing a good job convincing people that it's actually a magical time to go. There could still be that one deal breaker category. We're almost to it. Let's talk about the events that are happening. Disney does such a great job year round making sure that there are different things to see and do so that every time of year is a different experience. Things that you can look forward to in the summer months. The end of Flower and Garden. I would call Flower and Garden Festival at Epcot more of a spring festival. Starts right before spring break and ends right as summer is beginning. Depending on when you travel, you may or may not see it, but I wouldn't call it a summer festival. Do you all agree with that?
I agree.
Yeah, it's definitely spring.
Yeah, and then we have in the past at Epcot seen the beginning of the Food and Wine Festival. It used to start in July. I always felt that was a bit too early.
Mhm.
Something about that July month, I don't want melted cheese and wine walking around Epcot. That just doesn't sound great to me. So I actually like that they have pushed the food and wine start date back just a little bit. Does anybody know when it starts for this year, 2025? Do we have that start date?
I think it's end of August.
Yeah. Another thing that you can see, you start to have those crossovers, just like we have the end of the Flower and Garden Spring Festival. You have the beginning of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. Here's the thing about that. I am not ready for Halloween necessarily in August. Okay. I'm just not. I'm not there yet. However, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is so much fun. It's an amazing event that Disney offers. It might be the best event that Disney offers all year long. And if you can get an August trip in that aligns with your schedule and aligns with your budget, you can do it for less crowds and you can go to that Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween event and enjoy it. You have to do it. Whereas I'm a little out on starting Food and Wine Festival in the middle of summer, I am all in on starting Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party in the middle of August, which is typically, we don't have dates for 2025 yet. So I hope I'm not made a liar. But historically, that is when this party starts. And if it is starting and you are there, I'm all in on that.
And the affordability of those tickets in August is significantly cheaper comparative to going in October.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm a frequenter of the August Not So Scary Halloween Party, and it is a little weird. It does kind of give you at least for me, a perception that by the time Halloween gets here in October, at the end of October, it's like, wait, I've already done Halloween a really long time ago. What are you doing? Like, it's a very strange feeling to have already experienced Halloween in such a big way. And it's so fun. It really is so fun. The price on those tickets is significantly lower than if you go in an October date. Now, the costuming in August will go into what our next topic will be, as that it can be a little difficult. The costuming can be very, very hot. Really into
You
it.
might want to be Ariel in her bikini top.
In her seashells.
Yeah, in her seashells when you're going in August for sure.
Yes, yes. It does take some thinking about it. And I have failed a little bit at costume choices and
Yeah.
the temperature.
Please do
but
not be like Sully from Monsters Inc. in August at the Halloween party.
Oh my goodness.
Or if you
Yeah.
are, then do it as a Disney bound and not as a full on furry costume.
Like a nice furry bra top moment.
My son-in-law was Sully, actually, and it was really cute. And it was just a t-shirt, airbrushed. It was a really cute little airbrush with the dots and the right colors, and he had a baseball cap with the horns on it and stuff like
Oh,
that. It
cute.
was really cute.
I think the
Yeah.
key to costuming for summer is exactly what Becki just said. It's a Disney bounding moment. It's a take on a costume. You can do whatever costume you want, but you got to adapt it to be the tropical version of that costume, or you're going to die. Like you'll actually just pass out and die. And so, definitely, I'm all in on it. Love it. And then a couple other events. So we got the festivals at Epcot, obviously the Halloween party, H2O Glow Nights.
Mm-hmm.
I know Katie.
yeah.
I know Katie has done H2O Glow. Have either of you?
I have not yet, but it is so high on my list.
Yeah.
I know I always say I have things high on my list, and they're all high on my list, but man, I want to get there. I hear the character interactions are amazing, dance parties, and getting to just be in the water park at night. Like, when do you get to do that?
Such a great thing for fair-skinned babies and fair-skinned adults to be able to enjoy all that the water parks have to offer without the fear of burning to a crisp and having to deal with your sunscreen and all that kind of stuff. I think that is a huge perk. Besides just the fun of the glow sticks and the fun character interactions, that kind of things, just the benefit of being in this fun water park setting without the sunshine is pretty cool.
Yeah, or the hot cement, right? You don't have to worry about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that can be brutal. You also get Disney after hours events at this summer, I believe it's at Epcot and Hollywood Studios. So if you can buy tickets to those events and get nighttime access, again, avoiding the heat, you're just leveling up that vacation. And with the savings you probably got on your package or your tickets or your room or however you did it, you can probably afford those tickets. If you stay deluxe, you get the free included extended evening hours. And so you couple all of that together, and now you have tons of park time that's not in the beating sun. Tons of events to level up your vacation, make it something really different than you can experience any other time of year, which is why, in my opinion, this is magic, not tragic.
Magic all the way.
That is going to segue us into the last thing. And this is where most people determining if summer is the best time of year to go come to their hard stop. We have said that crowds, cost, pools, perks, schedules, and events are in their prime in the summer, that all of that is so magical. And if you prioritize any of those things, this is your time to shine. If the number one factor you are worried about is the weather, how do we feel about summer, Becki?
As someone who lives in Florida, what I would call summer is extreme. Extreme heat, extreme humidity, and extreme rain. Summer is inevitable. It's hurricane season. That does not mean you're going to come to Florida and be in a hurricane. That means the rain likelihood is significant. And the good piece of that is sometimes that afternoon shower that you're going to get is going to be great for cooling you off. And those showers that come in the afternoon are usually like 20-minute downpours and then moved on. So it's not all bad for this piece, but be aware that rain and heat and humidity will have an effect on your vacation.
Yeah.
Very real.
You have to be ready to strategize. You have to have lots of water. You have to drink water. It will rain every day, like you just said. And you have to be prepared for that. It is not going to rain all day. I also think that's fair to say, right? As a local, and I know you just touched on it, but that's fair to say, right? It's going to rain every day. It's not going to rain all day.
Yep.
Rain can, especially rain like this, and especially if it's not a hurricane, because you are sort of creeping then into hurricane season, right? Rain can only ruin your vacation if you let it. Some of my favorite memories are my family running from Galaxy's Edge to Toy Story Land in the pouring rain and just accepting the fact that we're going to be wet, you know? it is what it is. And at that point, I'm like, yeah, go jump in that puddle, whatever. And we remember it, and it's hilarious and it's fun. And it can only ruin your time if you let it, in my opinion.
2 of the 3 times my family has gone to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, it has been a downpour. And those 2 times that it rained, over the time it did not rain, is actually our very favorite versions of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party because people leave. When the rain starts, people panic and they leave and the crowds go down. Just like Ali was saying, if you lean in and say, it's just water, lean in, have the magic, let them dance in the rain because when else are they going to do that? Oh, there's so much magic to happen when those rainstorms are happening.
Mm-hmm.
And even when you are in a situation where maybe that hurricane season has started up a little bit and you are getting more rain all day type of situation, the amount of times you're actually outside is pretty limited, right? I mean, you can go from one indoor thing to another in a lot of places. And of course, you have your ponchos. There are ways to deal with it. And you're still experiencing attractions, right? There's not a lot that's shut down but for rain. So you still have plenty of things that you can experience and just keep going with your day. And in the extreme case, as Becki, you said, extreme things. Hurricane is an extreme weather event, right? It can be a very significant impact on a vacation. And there's no other place I would rather have a significant weather impact on a vacation than Disney World because you are going to be, even if you're at your resort, they're bringing in character interactions, they're bringing in games and opportunities. I'm speaking from some clients that were in this most recent one. The way they enjoyed other guests, they played games in the lobby, and Disney is going to make sure that you're not just bored and annoyed, right? There's going to be
Yeah.
fun happening. The magic doesn't stop at Disney.
Yes.
Whether the rain is there or not, the magic continues.
Yep, exactly. They've got the rainy day parade. They have all kinds of different things going on. You can't escape the heat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a lot harder to embrace the heat in the ways that I'm saying to embrace the rain because the heat in Florida is draining. It is very overwhelming. I have a very specific memory when my twins were 2, I want to say, and we were going to Hollywood Studios and we were there the first week of August. And I remember the line to get into the park. We were just kind of there at rope drop, and so the line was a little bit long and the stroller line was moving pretty slowly. And there was just nowhere to escape the heat. And the little fan I brought was not working. And my son just didn't understand, and so he didn't want to drink his water. And holding him wasn't helping because then we were more hot. He was really upset. That moment passed. We got through security. We immediately went to some shade. He calmed down. We got some water. And then that was over. There are going to be moments that are very hard in the heat. And I want to be very clear about that because I don't want to be misleading in any way. It is very hot. But there are ways to strategize. There are places to go. Disney is not, they're not unaware, right? And so a lot of the queues are in shade or indoors. There are a lot of water fill stations everywhere. There is a lot of air conditioning. And it is possible, more than possible. It's not going to ruin your trip, but you have to be prepared mentally for it.
I think the reality of thinking, what does that mean? What does it mean that it's hot? Because hot and cold mean different things to different people. Know that typical averages in Disney World from end of May to mid-September are low 70s for the lows and low 90s for the highs. And then add to that humidity. You can prepare for it, but it will be a factor.
Yeah. My August trips, every single one of them, honestly, being super candid, the weather probably ranged daily 95 to like 10 something.
Ooh, you got an extreme.
I don't look back at those trips and think that was awful.
Mm-hmm.
They were wonderful. We had a great time, but we prepared, and you want to wear next to nothing, the lowest, thinnest layer possible. And you just want to be prepared. You would not go skiing on a ski trip in the mountains and not bring all of the snow gear.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You wouldn't bring a tank top to go skiing in the mountains. You have to prepare, and as long as you are, that's fine. Now, all of that said, I have a difficult question. If it was just rain, I would say this is magic, whatever. You can love the rain. Given the fact that we have said you can strategize this, do we think the weather in the summer is magic or tragic?
I will speak here because I have said I love summer. It is my favorite season. And I just know that in life, you cannot escape weather extremes.
Mm-mm.
And the weather extreme I choose is hot. And I know that that is not the case for everyone. My husband is the opposite. He would much rather have it be, and he doesn't really love the cold either, but if he was going to choose the weather extreme, you play these games, this or that, which would you rather have? I
Mhm.
would rather have heat. And I know that's not for everyone. I'm also a Southern girl. I've grown up in Alabama. We have very similar temperatures and experiences with the humidity, and it's very real. You are very, very sweaty here, but I love a good sweat. And I have learned through the years how to have an ice bucket with my I'll get the hand towels from the bathroom and put them in an ice bucket with water in the morning. When I come back in the afternoon, I'll lay them over my legs and my feet, and it's so relaxing and cool. So I do not call it tragic. I think it's still a great time to go, but I totally yield if the two of you would like to say that the summer is tragic for weather.
When I moved to Florida, I fell in love with winter because I love being able to go outside and have just that briskness in the morning. I love being able to just be outside and not stress, overly needing shade, overly needing to have water with you at all times, all of those items. So in Florida, I love the winter weather very, very best. And so when I think about summer at Disney, I would dare say that I would call it tragic. However, with calling it tragic, I would say that tragedy is way overshadowed by all of those other magic items.
I agree. I'm going to call it tragic but manageable.
Mm-hmm.
It is tragic. It is so hot. It is going to rain. It is so hard. But it is not hard enough to negate the magic of the crowd, the magic of the cost, the magic of the pool, the magic of the perks, the magic of the schedules, the magic of the events and the options that you can do. You're going to avoid all of that because it's hot? No way. And that is why when people say, what is the best time of year? It's hard because nothing is going to be perfect. Where another time of year may get magic in every area, including weather, but maybe not crowds. You're going to have an area that feels like the tragic element of that time of year. And for summer, it's the weather. But with all of those other things making your experience magical, there's no way that unless you have somebody that's like, I cannot do 90 degrees, it will ruin my trip. And that honestly could just be a mindset, right? Like you can shift that mindset in most cases. Other than that, summer is magic across the board.
It really is.
Absolutely.
Because even a rainy or hot or humid day in Disney is still better than every other day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Summer is truly a complete experience. I mean, it is top to bottom, left to right, no matter how you look at it, especially if you strategize and manage that tragic weather. It is a very complete experience with so many opportunities. And for any Smart Moms travel agents listening today, the Hidden Mickey will be complete. And if you're a smarty listening and you want to send us the Hidden Mickey, we will send you another little summer tidbit that might make your trip even more magical. All right, we are going to take a break. And when we come back from listening to our Friend Like Me segment, stop what you're doing. Do not fast forward. Listen to other Smart Moms travel agents that are just like us out there doing their thing in their social media. You are going to want to follow them and join their groups so that you can have even more magic. If you want your daily Tuesday magic to drop right into your podcast feed, you better have those automatic downloads turned on for this show right here. And we will be right back on the other end. It's no secret that one of my favorite types of vacation is a Disney cruise. You have to join our friends at Smart Moms Plan Disney Cruises on Facebook. This is the vacation that is your vacation as a mom. You are going to enjoy and relax and experience with your family when you are on a Disney cruise. Smart Moms Plan Disney Cruises has over 70,000 members in it. The ladies who run this group have been on every Disney cruise ship, and they have lots of experience helping families take this awesome vacation. Smart Moms Plan Disney Cruises on Facebook. One of the best things to do while you are at Disney World is celebrate. If you are celebrating something when you go to Disney World, whether it's an anniversary, a birthday, or just a first trip, you want to join our friends Moms Planning Celebrations at Disney on Facebook. They are offering up budget-friendly celebration ideas, creative tips to make your Disney celebration special without overspending, honest tips, tried and true solutions, all the things you need from the moms that have done it all, and unique ways to celebrate at Disney resorts, dining spots, and more. They have seasonal seasonal celebration tips, and everything you need to level up the celebration on your trip. That is Moms Planning Celebrations at Disney on Facebook. All right, we are back. We're ready to do a lightning lane, and it's going to be a truly fast one. Are you ladies ready?
Let's go.
I'm going to do my best.
We're on Becki, then Stacy, and there is no time for messing around. We have, what hotel are you staying at for a summer trip?
I'm going to choose Caribbean Beach Resort.
And I'm going to stick with a beach club. We'll stay the beach.
Beach club for me as well. What ADR, advanced dining reservation, is your must grab on a summer trip?
Oh, just give me anything that I can eat out on a patio under the lights is going to be my kind of jam. Maybe the summer house at Disney Springs.
Interesting. Outside on the summer. Okay. I was going to say Garden Grill for some nice summer vegetables.
Mm.
Ugh, that sounds heavy in the summer. I was going to say anywhere I can get a light meal indoors. If I can get a light meal inside, that's where I'm going. What park is a must-do for your summer trip?
Hollywood Studios is going to have to be it for me. I'm just drawn there. I have to see Fantasmic, and if I can see it twice.
Hollywood Studios is exactly where I was going to for many of those same reasons.
Blizzard Beach for me. What is your favorite thing to do outside of the parks during the summer months?
Finding a place to watch Happily Ever After from outside of the parks. It's magic.
Oh, yeah. Watching anything from really that Polynesian beach area and the pool, especially the fireworks, is so great. So that's some magic right there.
Mm.
I was going to say pool day. Pool
Yep.
games, poolside party. Love it so much. Best tip for helping with that summer heat?
Pack yourself a cooling towel, a fan, and some chafing ointment of some kind.
Cooling towel is such a good tip. You got to have a cooling towel.
Yeah, and I do. I like taking a little fan with me and just taking breaks and getting lots of water.
And your favorite way to escape the rain?
Ooh, step into a show that's going on. There's so many great shows to see at Disney, and so many people skip them and only want to do the rides. Get into the shows.
Say that's when I go back to the room, take me a little afternoon nap, wake up and enjoy the evening.
Stacy is part of those people that are leaving the parks and leaving it empty for you to go to.
Yep,
See?
Yep.
I was going to say shows is the right answer for sure.
Hey, I am significantly older than you ladies, so I enjoy my afternoon nap. Judge if you will. That's fine.
No argument there. No argument there. You are significantly. All right. I hope we have taught all of you smarties that summer months are not scary months. You should go to Disney in the summer. You can capitalize on the magic that is the crowds, the costs, the pools, the perks, the schedules, the events. You have to deal with that tragic weather, but it's manageable. You can do it. You can handle it. You can have an experience unlike any other time of year. Don't forget, this podcast is hosted by Smart Moms Travel Agents. We can help you plan. Fill out the link in our show notes. We'd be happy to connect and help you. That is going to do it for us on another episode here on the Smart Moms Plan Disney podcast. And until next time, we'll see you real soon.
Well, that's what I just asked a minute ago. I was like, are we recording? And I thought y'all said no. And I was like, oh, good. I don't want any of this recorded.
That little recording red light at the top of our screen, Stacy, that's us recording.
Don't edit any of that out. So how are you?
Oh my gosh. It's probably getting edited. It's not even animatronic. Would it be an automatronic? I don't know. I just such a great thing for
Go ahead.
Such a great
I was
thing
just saying is the hidden Mickey complete? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
That's what I had on there?
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay.